All right. It seems that we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Meet the Speakers series. This is just short little chat that we have with our speakers that's going to be talking at the World Nutrition Summit. And this is just to give you, our audience, a little bit of a sneak peek of what you can expect at this incredible World Nutrition Summit in October. So today I'm incredibly honored and excited to have Nicole Laurent with us. Nicole, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so for those of you who might not know Nicole, Nicole is a metabolic psychiatry practitioner with over 15 years as a licensed mental health counselor. She specializes in ketogenic therapies for mental and neurological health. She has a deep passion for integrating nutritional and metabolic therapies into mental health treatment, and her work focuses on using therapeutic ketogenic diets to support brain health and treat psychiatric conditions. She is here with us today to share insights into how food and mental health are deeply connected and how the ketogenic lifestyle can be a powerful tool for healing. So, thank you, Nicole. And I want to invite the audience, if there's anyone out there that has any specific questions for Nicole, for myself, or even maybe questions about the World Nutrition Summit, please pop them in the comment section and we will do our best to get to them today. If you are watching the replay, you're also more than welcome to add any questions in the comment section and we will still get to you. So, Nicole, I think as a starting point, I would love for you to share a little bit with our audience how your journey started and what led you to integrate the ketogenic lifestyle into mental health practice.
Yeah, so I developed a neurological condition. It was a chronic pain condition, and that was many years ago. And part of that chronic pain condition here in the States, they do not offer very much for chronic pain other than medication. So I ended up being on chronic pain medications and my chronic pain issue resolved, my neurological issue resolved, but I was stuck on those medications. And I had a particularly difficult time for whatever reason due to my individuality or something, but they could not seem to get me off of those medications for many years. And so, and I know this is an issue for many people, so I would not be surprised if other people had this issue. But by the time they finally got me off of those medications with an experimental protocol, um, my cognitive function was greatly impaired. So I had such poor cognitive function after that, months after that detoxification procedure, that I met criteria for stage 1 Alzheimer's disease. I didn't have stage 1 Alzheimer's disease, but my cognitive symptoms were that severe. And so I was starting to not recognize faces. I was getting lost around town. I could not remember 2 or 3 digits in my head at a time. It was very bad. And I happened to listen to a podcast with Dom D'Agostino, and he was talking about ketogenic diets and Alzheimer's and cognitive function, and having to listen to it over and over again because I really could not learn very well at that point. I finally fiddled with the ketogenic diet over a month or two and got it right and got that lights turned on sensation that many people talk about when they use it for neurological conditions. And I kept going with it. But the thing that I really noticed was the profound effects on mood. So I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and my cognitive symptoms were so bad, I thought I was going to have to retire, quite frankly. But after this and my cognition started to come back, I noticed that there were these really profound mood effects to a ketogenic diet. I didn't even realize that I was kind of fighting with anxiety constantly. I had great tools to do it. I'm a therapist, right? So I knew all the tricks of the trade, but it shouldn't have been that difficult. I shouldn't have had to get all those tools out all the time just to kind of function and not be overwhelmed. So these profound mood effects that I experienced, I got to the place where I did not feel like I could ethically not tell the people across from me about this treatment and the effects it has on the brain. And so then I just switched gears and started doing this.
Wow, what an incredible story. And you know what I love about it is that you are coming from a place where you yourself has experienced how absolutely life-changing this diet or lifestyle can be. And I want to share a little something that someone told me recently is at the moment we're running one of our Eat Better South Africa programs at a local clinic here in the Cape Town. And we're now at this weekend it'll be week 5, but so we had week 4, but week 3 there was a lady and she suffers from chronic back pain, to the point where she cannot really, she struggles to move. And after the 3rd week of making these lifestyle changes, one of the feedback that she gave us was that her pain was so much better and that she felt physically so much, so much better in terms of pain relief that this lifestyle changes has done for her. It's just absolutely incredible and such a great reminder about that. And the way we kind of connected us, you reached out to us through your own nonprofit organization.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, do you maybe want to share a little bit more about the incredible work you do?
Yeah, I would love to. I'm really excited about the nonprofit and its growth and the trajectory that's going on. So, as I'll give just a little bit of backstory to it, just to contextualize it. So, after I switched my practice over to this, I worked with a person called Lauren Kennedy West of the now Living Well After Schizophrenia YouTube channel. And so I assisted her on her ketogenic diet. She made this beautiful public recovery. And so what would happen was that I would get a lot of inquiries. They would see this very large YouTube channel. They would see her doing well, and they would want a piece of that. They would want to know how they could get some of that, right? And so they would contact me. But when people have chronic mental illness, often they are on government disability, or they are underemployed and low income. And so what I was encountering was a lot of people who needed my services or the services of someone like me who just did not have access. It was completely out of their reach. And I was thinking, my goodness, if ever there was a population that needed access to this, it is this population. And so for a year or so, I kind of quietly ushered them in. They would contact me. I would figure out they couldn't pay, and I would just kind of usher them into my online program that does everything I do, an individual consultation, really. And then I got to the point where I was like, I really enjoy assisting this population with accessing this. And I don't know when this is going to become standard of care. It should be, but it's not yet. And that could be years away. And the level of suffering that these individuals experience on these very high doses of medications with symptoms poorly controlled is really quite high. It's a high level of suffering. And the idea of someone having to wait months or years to alleviate that suffering potentially with this treatment. So I just decided I'm going to fund it. I'm just going to figure out how to do it. And so I publicly announced that that Brain Fog Recovery Source, which is the name of my nonprofit, would be taking in people on government disability due to psychiatric illness at no cost. And also we have a low income option where people can apply from that way. And, I did that in April, and we started tracking it. And just those few months, so April, May, June, July, it's July now, the end of July, we've had over 120 requests and interest. And we enrolled 66 people, and we've got 46 people in some stage of application process. And so that's a big jump. And so, yeah, we're doing really good work, and I'm really excited about it. And people are getting well, and we track a lot of qualitative data, like, how do you see yourself now? How do you experience yourself now? How are your relationships different with these different people? Are you more present? Have you gone back to hobbies? Have you gone back to pleasant experiences? Are you thinking about going back to work or school? These are the outcomes that we measure. in this program in the nonprofit branch.
Wow, Nicole, that's really incredible. And I mean, it's so true. Here in South Africa, it's very similar. Unless you have what we call medical aid, like health insurance, you would fall under public healthcare or government healthcare. And the process there to get support for mental health is extremely long and tedious and very difficult to get the right type of support. And often you are rather treated with just, tablets for depression or anxiety or, your specific mental health condition without getting counseling or the necessary therapeutic support out there. And I'm sure we'll still chat a lot offline and at the conference on how we can maybe collaborate and incorporate more of your work with our programs here, because one of our sessions is also, or a part of the program, we also do focus on mental health and to try and create more awareness around that. And just, I think often just talking more about it and breaking the stigma around it is already kind of a first step, and understanding, you're not alone. And, if you struggle, if you suffer, you don't have to, keep quiet and, suffer in silence. So I think really the work that you're doing is incredible.
Thank you.
I quickly want to go over to the comment section because I see we've got a few people saying hi. Kieran is saying greetings. Mandisa saying hello, Jana and Nicole. Mandisa here from South Africa. Karen saying hi, Nicole. You are just doing the most amazing work. I can't wait to hear more in October. Maritza saying, hi, good afternoon, Jana and Nicole. Excited to attend this lecture at the World Nutrition Summit. And then we've got Happy Healthy Women saying, hello, Nicole and Jana. Wow, I wish more people knew how nutrition impacts our health. Nicole, how can someone get going on making lifestyle changes to help improve their health?
So I would say, I all my answers will be in the context of the population that I work with the most, of course. So for a lot of the people that I work with, they are on medications that have really severe side effects that make it very difficult to do things that are self-directed behavior. So, the idea of to being sedated basically to varying levels. And so, saying to them, go out and exercise, which is great, but the motivation to do that and the energy to do that, because these medications impair energy production, is rough. And so I find, so most of the people I work with often have support people helping them because their functioning is so very low. But for someone who is not of that population that is just trying to make changes, it's really, I think the easiest way is to pair a behavioral stimulus with an environmental trigger or a time trigger. So if you want to start to take your multivitamin or take your supplements, you pair it with an action that you do every morning, like loading the dishwasher. Or if you, if you want to make sure that you go for a walk, you set up the stage in such a way that you have your shoes by the coffee pot or something like that. That's an environmental trigger. And it really doesn't take very long to start to do those behavioral changes. And with diet, you guys have the most amazing coaches around that. But yes, so there's lots of different ways to start swapping things out to make better food choices.
Thank you, Nicole. And I think that ties in with what some people call habit stacking, if I'm correct. Is that similar to kind of adding something onto something?
Yes. So I think of it from a psychology lens, but yes, that's basically what it is. It works really, really well to have that environmental trigger. When you reach for your toothbrush, you do this other thing. So putting them together really is really the easiest way to kind of start these new habits and make these new decisions.
Thank you. I think that's such a wonderful tip. I see we've got another question here. Oh, first, Kieran, to say bravo. I guess that was about something that you mentioned. And then Karen's asking, do you have any advice for people who are trying to help those with mental health issues, but who don't want to take ownership of their condition? It sounds like people come to you who are ready to make a change, but presumably they are someone who don't want to put in the work.
Right. So that's a really difficult one because yes, the people who come to see me are get out of the way, give me access, I'm ready to go, tell me what to do and I will do it because they are very much cognizant that their quality of life is poor, and they want some old functioning back, or they want to know the hope and promise of ketogenic metabolic therapy and what it might be able to do for them. But I do get many emails from parents of adult children, for example, with serious mental illness that adult is not interested. They don't have insight into what their functioning is, that it's not quite where it could be, or they are quite bought into the narrative that that's chronic and debilitating and that there isn't a way out. And I would say when people are chronically ill with mental illness or anything else, really, they do go through periods where they are afraid to hope. So part of how they cope is to radically accept where they are without any chance of improvement. And people go through phases of that in chronic illness. And then later on down the road, they might decide they're going to try something. And there really is a psychological component to getting ready to try something that you really just cannot rush someone through, right? And so, as much as we want the people in our lives to thrive and we love them and we want them to explore every possibility, we really don't have any control. And I love that the person who asked this question understands that it's not something that they can take control of for them. There is a line between being a support person and being so overly invested in the outcome that it causes conflict within the relationship between those two people, right? We don't want a power struggle. Support is different than wrestling someone, right? Wrestling someone is not support. That's something different.
I love
Understandable, but
that.
but different. Yes, very human and understandable. So, yes, it's maybe when they come to your house, you have low carb meals that they get to experience and enjoy. Maybe it's if you think there's someone who's going to take a good multivitamin, which nutrition, some kind of nutrition is great. Maybe that's something that you deliver to their house for them or something, and if they're going to take it. So they're on their own journey. They're on their own journey.
Thank you for that, Nicole. And I see Karen is saying here, that's exactly my position. It's so good to know that I am not alone.
Yeah, no, not at all.
So thank you so much for that. I think since this is just a quick little chat, I think I'm going to ask some of my questions now. But if there's anyone else in the audience that would like to ask a question, please pop it there in this comment section. But Nicole, from my side, I would love for you to tell us a little bit more about the topic that you will be speaking on at the conference, and also share a little bit about what excites you most about coming to Cape Town in October and being part of the World Nutrition Summit.
Yeah. So I'm going to be on a speaker panel. And so mostly I think people are going to ask me questions and I'm going to try to answer them to the best of my ability. And the topic is not waiting, right? And that is very much up my alley. So my nonprofit is really going around the system that exists and making sure that there's access. And I have had many years now of not waiting, of just kind of knowing that this is eventually going to be standard of care and trying to help people get access to it or understand it better or know that it's on the table as a very valid evidence-based treatment option. So yeah, I think when you guys asked me to come on down, I was most excited about, is there a way to do my nonprofit in some culturally and regionally appropriate way where you are in order to kind of access that? So that's what I'm mostly excited about. But I love talking about what I do. I just have the best job in the world. Like I see people go into remission from serious mental illness and even run of the mill, diagnoses of just depression and anxiety that might not even meet criteria as a full diagnosis, just a state that they're just in more often than not. So I just get to see people thrive, and the recoveries that I get to see using a ketogenic metabolic therapy, um, it's kind of amazing. I even have a study. It's recruiting right now, but only for people in the U.S. But it's looking at recovery stories of individuals who've used ketogenic metabolic therapies as a treatment for mental illness. So they identify as recovered or recovering, and collecting interviews with their family members also who have witnessed this recovery. So the interview material is very rich, and it's a qualitative study. So I just love talking about what I do. I think everybody who does what I do enjoys talking about it. I'm looking forward to seeing Lori Calabrese down there. Usually I see her up here in the States, but I'll see her down there. And so you guys just have, it's metabolic mental health is well represented at the conference for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much. And we can't wait to have you here. And I mean, we can chat about some more, but we'd love to show you and even take you to some of our programs here if you have some time available, either before or after the conference. So we can chat about that. I see here's another comment from Louise, and Louise is also one of our very much valued ambassadors. And she's saying, hello. Currently, I'm doing everything I do for free in my own time. I'm supporting so many individuals, not as a medical professional, but as a health coach. Knowing this information can help so many people thrive. I'm keen to spread the word. Well done, Nicole. Incredible work.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and thank you, Louise. And I feel like so many of us are so passionate about what we do. A lot of us started off just by spreading the word. And I also often say, like, I feel also I've got one of the best jobs in the world. I'm so incredibly grateful for being able to, to work with the people I work with, do what we do. It's just really an honor. And once you see those changes happening in people, how do they say? Once you see it, it cannot be unseen.
Correct.
And once you realize how impactful these nutritional changes can be, it's just a driver to want to tell more people and to create more awareness. But Nicole, we've just got a couple of minutes, but I really want to ask you to share a little bit about the recent more public, figure that you helped. I think it was related to schizophrenia. Mm-hmm. Is that the one? And then you can also maybe share so people can go have a look at the YouTube channel and at your work. But I'd love for you to share a little bit more about that, because I think that's just an incredible story.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So Lauren Kennedy West has a YouTube channel called Living Well After Schizophrenia. And it's amazing. And she had been chronicling her journey, I think, over 5 years. And so her audience had built up over time, and they had seen her very ill, even videos from the hospital when she was hospitalized, and she was quite severe. And so she's a staunch patient advocate, and always has been, and just is a natural educator, and really good at making information accessible for people. So she decided to do a metabolic experiment, and I was her keto coach. And here in the States, the way I do it with people is we create treatment teams. So you have someone managing the diet that is comfortable utilizing it. Sometimes the higher ratios work better with some different diagnoses. I'm sure we'll talk all about that part in the World Summit. But someone managing the diet. So, and then she also had a prescriber, a psychiatrist specifically for her medication, and then also a general practitioner in her case, and then also a therapist that she had been seeing for many years. So she had this beautiful treatment team ready to support her in different ways. And she just got better. And just like we see, I mean, it wasn't just symptom reduction. It wasn't just that her psychotic symptoms went away and that was that. She just thrives. You just have to see the channel. It's fantastic. And so between that and Metabolic Mind here in the States, metabolicmind.org is a fantastic place to get evidence-based information about metabolic therapies for mental health. And they talk about a lot of the things that many doctors are behind in the research about. A lot of what the advocacy does is we really just catch people up to the literature so that they can self-advocate for themselves with their doctors and make informed decisions. But yeah, that was fantastic. And I actually wrote, and I can say this because she came out and said, this is my case report in the peer review literature, but we wrote her and another individual up. And you can read that in Frontiers in Nutrition. So if you go to scholar.google.com and you type in Nicole Laurent, Laurent, and ketogenic, you'll see several case reports. And these are published case reports. And yes, there's only N equals 1, but I'm not the only one publishing them. This is happening all over the world in different clinical rooms at Stanford, at McLean, at Ellenhorn, at all of these different places people are recovering. And so publishing these case studies, these case reports, is an important foundational piece in the evidence-based pyramid of how we reach evidence-based practice. And so that's my small contribution, is writing all these lovely stories up.
That's really incredible. And I won't call it a small contribution. I think you're really doing incredible work. So thank you so much for that. We've come to the end of our live meet and greet. I want to give you the opportunity, maybe if there's anything that I didn't ask you now that you wanted to talk about, if you want to share anything. And also then, of course, to let our audience members know where can they get hold of you.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I could talk all day. So yeah, we won't ask me that question. But if they want to contact me, they can go to mentalhealthketo.com. There's a contact form there. And yeah, go ahead and reach out with any questions you have.
Amazing. Thank you so, so much, Nicole. Really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today. I'm sure our audience also enjoyed it. And really looking forward to meeting you in October. I think you are also part of the Nutrition Network members, that you've done some of their training. So I want to mention that this month they are celebrating and they're giving off 50% of the advisor training. So if anyone is interested, go over to their Facebook page, their website, have a look at that. And then our media team will also just again pop all of our links and Nicole's links in the comment section after this live. So you can go and book your ticket. Our early bird pricing ends at the end of July. So make sure you don't miss out on that. And yeah, Nicole, looking forward to seeing you there. And to our audience, thank you, and hope we see you all in October.
Thank you.
Yes. Have a lovely day further, everyone. Goodbye.